Okay, that sure looks like we're live. We're going to hit record locally, so I have a copy, failing all else. And we're going to get a link to our stream here so we can share. There's that, and we'll, oh snap, crackles and pop. Okay, and we'll put that right there. Minimize that. Okay, let's get into it, shall we? Oh boy, howdy. Let's pause here. Just immediately spam them with a link to the stream. And we have one viewer. Hello, viewer, whoever you may be. Hopefully you're one of the pups. If not, then this is going to seem rambling and nonsensical. But if you're watching this as a VOD, if you're not part of this whole stream thing that we're putting on, welcome. What you are about to see is however long a video it takes for me to explain how to get started with the Create mod in the All of Fabric mod pack. We're going to go from having a little bit of establishment. We're going to assume that you have a house built. We're going to assume that you, okay, our mod is Klaatu. She's the target, or our viewer is Klaatu. She's the target audience for this video, so that's wonderful. But we're going to assume that, you've got a house built, you've got, some resources going, whatnot have you. That way I don't have to coach you through like the best levels on which to mine for andesite and things of that nature. So the very first thing that we want to do in order to get started with Create is decide our goals. For the sake of this video, we're going to be making a series of water wheels that are going to allow us to have rotational power through which we are going to turn some shafts, spin some gears, all sorts of fun things. And that is going to give us the kinetic energy we need to power some big crushing wheels. And along that, process, we'll create automatic crafters or mechanical crafters, mechanical presses. We'll have speedometers, stressometers, goggles, all sorts of things. So it's going to be long. It's going to be involved. I apologize, but that's why we're recording this. And in addition to watching this live stream back later as a VOD, hopefully I can not be incredibly lazy and I'll pull the recording of it into my editing software, trim it down to be a little less rambly and a lot more precise. So the first thing I know that we want is some water wheels. So we're going to look at Create. And we're saying at Create. That way it shows us everything from the Create mod or any mod with Create in its name. For example, Rechiseled Create, Create Deco, stuff like that. But we want a water wheel. Now there's two types of water wheels. There's the small ones and the big ones. I'm going to go for the big ones just because I think they look a little bit better. But the thing I want to show you here that's really important is if you click up here, you can see where my mouse is. I'm not in anything. You're just wanting to make sure that you're not down here ready to type. So you click here in the middle of nowhere and you can hold your mouse over what you're interested in create and it'll say hold W to ponder. And if we hold W, it's going to right here in game show us a interactive video tutorial of sorts. And this is wonderful because I can stop this at any time. I can click identify and say, what the hell is this? And it'll say, oh, that's a speedometer. And I can ask about the speedometer by holding W. So Create is just chef's kiss emoji, a very beautifully designed mod. A really, really wonderful system. So we know that we want some water wheels. In order to make a water wheel, we have to have some small water wheels. and a bunch of wood. Wood won't be a problem. So in order to make small water wheels, we need some shafts. Okay, how do we make shafts? Andesite alloy. Okay, how do we make andesite alloy? You can use zinc nuggets or iron nuggets and some andesite stone. Fair enough. So I have in one of my bags some andesite and in a different bag some iron nuggets. So just right here in your little crafting grid, you don't have to go all the way to a crafting table. You can throw those in there like that and get a whole bunch of andesite alloys. And by putting them on top of each other like this, you're able to get a whole bunch of shafts. So now we have half a stack of shafts, which is pretty good for us. So we're going to need more wood. I don't happen to have a lot of that on me, but because we're established, we're a little ways into the game, I don't have to go far to get it. I'm going to zip through the wine cellar here. Just going to eat. I'm used to running everywhere, and being low on energy slows me down. Not a big fan of it. Let's turn our music and volume on. That way we have some sort of ambience, even if it's only our footsteps. I would try and live stream, some music, some copyright-free lo-fi stuff, but sometimes the YouTube's content ID gets a little overzealous, and we're not playing around with that today. So we'll grab just 2 stacks of logs. That should be enough to meet all of our wood needs for this project. We'll run back here to our build site. All right. So we have some shafts, and we need some planks so that we can make the water wheel. Now these are the small water wheels. I'll show you what they look like, and I'll show you also why I prefer the big water wheels. We're gonna make, let's say 4 of these in total. Honestly, just because we can. The more of these you have, the more stress your system can manage, and we'll cover that at a later date. Or a little later, I should say. So here you have a small water wheel. Now, these can be great for a variety of different purposes, because you could have a lot of them in a long staircase with water flowing over the top, and because water is going to hit 2 sides of the wheel, they're going to spin decently fast, and if you connect all these together, you'll get a lot of mechanical stress availability out of the machine. But it's not aesthetically the look I'm going for this build, so we're going to go with some larger water wheels. We made 4 of them, so I want a 4-block wide outlet, and now we want to turn our small water wheels into big water wheels just by surrounding them with planks. And there we go. We've got 4 large water wheels. And, you'd be hard-pressed to believe that's not more impressive. So right now, everything I'm doing here genuinely doesn't matter. I'm just giving myself a little bit of we'll call it set dressing, because what I want to do now is come in here and get some water flowing over these water wheels. We don't want to block this central shaft because we're going to need that. All right. Now, if you're clever, you will have buckets and water and all of that good stuff on you. I must therefore be an idiot because I don't have any of that stuff, which is fine because I do have iron. So we'll just make 2 buckets real fast. In case you're curious about the double jump, I have on my belt here a cloud in a bottle, which allows me to double jump. You can even see its little cosmetic appearance right over there. Anywho, so 1 water there, 1 water there. Whoop. Because the water's already flowing, it's not going to form together to make infinite water like I thought it would. But that's okay. We now have a moving water wheel, which is great. That's honestly everything we were after. I'm going to clean up the aesthetics of this just a little bit. We're going to do that by making some stairs. And we can close in the back half of this water wheel. We just don't need it anymore. All of my cobblestone is in my mining tank. Here we go. So now we have rotation. And we can test that we have rotation by putting down some shafts. And we can see it is indeed rotating. Now, if we just throw something on the end of this, it does not rotate. We can put things on the side, it also doesn't rotate. You have to teach things to play ball with create. So in order to do that, we need something to link into this. We have to have some way to get useful energy out of this. Well, the very first useful thing that I could think of that we might want would be gearboxes. That way I can point this energy somewhere else. So if I look up here, I see gearbox and vertical gearbox. I can make a gearbox out of a vertical gearbox and vice versa. But if I want to make a gearbox from something that isn't already a gearbox, I'm going to need some andesite casings and some small cogwheels. We'll get to the casings in just a moment. Let's look at these cogwheels. It's just some shafts and some planks. Any old planks will do. So I'm going to make a whole stack of planks. And we'll convert half of those into these little cogwheels. There we go. So we have 32 small cogwheels, and we have a bunch of log blocks left over. Why am I drawing attention to the log blocks? Because the log blocks are how we are going to make our andesite casings. We have some andesite alloy left over. So if we were to take an axe, there's one, and just right click and shave down all of these logs, we're left with stripped oak logs. But now that they're stripped, we can clad them just by holding some andesite alloy in our hands, right clicking, and just like that, we have andesite casing. A beautiful thing. So, with our andesite casing in hand, I'm just going to make a little route here. We're going to remove this one shaft. I can take and make some gearboxes. So, if the concept of the gearboxes have seemed tricky from a purely verbal description, hopefully now having some visuals will help, because you'll see we're able to redirect that rotation in different ways. Now, it's really important to note the water wheel is going counterclockwise, but because we're going through the gearbox, the rotation we're getting out on this side is now clockwise. So if we were to look at a gearbox from top down, every opposite side is going to rotate in reverse of the side that is near it. Meanwhile, every side here is going to be sympathetic. What do I mean by sympathetic? Let's look at this side here. It's going clockwise, but you can think of it as this right-hand side is moving down. What's physically happening inside? I have a ghost to contend with. One moment. Cool. Okay. What's physically happening inside of a 4-pole gearbox like this is there are 4 poles coming in. We'll visualize those. And in the middle here, those are going to meet in these sort of triangularly shaped gears. The teeth start at the point and go down and widen so that as the pole turns, the whole gear assembly rotates. And what that means is that when the right-hand side of this goes down, the left-hand side of this goes down. We can check that. Right-hand side of this is going down, left-hand side of this is going down. Likewise, if we were standing where that wheel is and looking out, the left-hand side of that shaft going through the wheel, which would be to our right, the left-hand side of that would be going up, and the side over here facing the wheel is going up. So you really don't need to understand them to that degree to make your mechanisms. Just be aware that if you need this to spin in a certain direction, you can always plop down another gearbox, and voila, we're back to going the same direction as the windmill or the water wheel. So I'm just doing a little bit of housekeeping here while I think up what my next move will be. I think I am going to direct the energy over here, and I think I'm going to get now into a series of large cogwheels. So you can see right here, that's just a shaft and 2 planks of some sort. So we will take some shafts and some planks, and we'll make some large cogwheels. I'm going to put the large cogwheels and the small cogwheels down here, and we're going to discuss gear ratios. As you can see watching this spin right now, it's pretty slow. If we put a small cogwheel on there and then put a large cogwheel next to it, it's even slower. Why? Because this small cogwheel has to rotate 2 full times in order to rotate the big cogwheel 1 time. So we're getting a 50% speed reduction. If we want to increase our speeds, we can do that same gear ratio backwards. So now, for every 1 rotation of the big wheel, the small wheel will rotate 2 full times. And at this speed, going twice as fast isn't that impressive. But we can scale this. We can do this as many times as we need to. And you can already tell we're starting to move considerably faster than we were before. So let's do this one more time. As you look around, you'll see the highlight here. I don't know, there. I don't know how visible that little black outline is going to be, but as I move my mouse around it, there's a little white arrow that's trying to snap and tell me where my little cogwheel is going to lock into. Likewise, when I'm placing shafts down, we'll go here, for example, it will tell me where it is I'm trying to build my shaft. So, you know, just some fun little things that the mod author built in to help make life easier. But now we have one that's going at a pretty good rate of speed. So you may wonder, well, how fast is that going? What, can I do with that speed? You can do a lot with that speed, but to answer the first question of how fast is it going, we need a speedometer. So Create has us covered once again. I don't see it on this first page. Which just means I'm missing it. There it is. So we'll get that by making a compass and using one of our andesite casings on it. Wonderful. So we got some iron earlier. Let's get into our backpack here. We'll grab a piece of redstone. Make a compass just like this. And we'll make a speedometer just like this. And we'll throw that right there. And I'm wearing something that you're not going to have access to when you first start your journey, called engineer's goggles. I'm going to throw mine away because by the end of this video, we'll have made new ones. But without them, you can't really tell much except that we're at roughly half of whatever full speed is. If we wanted to go to full speed, we could. That's our right. But I think I'm okay here for now. So I'm going to figure out what is blinging at me. Work email stuff. So, and you know something? We'll go ahead and we'll close that window because it's 6 o'clock at night and I'm not working right now. I'm going to make an additional gearbox is what I'm going to do. And actually, I feel bad about that. I'm going to reopen that work window just because I really like this job. And it takes so little of my focus. I can multitask. So with our 2 gearboxes, we're going to put one here. And we'll put another one over here. I'm going to use some more shafts. Connect these up. I'm going to all the way back out to here-ish. That way I can close off this room with the gear reductions in it. And that'll just be part of our building now. Something we don't have to look at or think about all that often. I'm not going to fully seal it because we're going to play with that gauge a little later. But for the time being, we'll leave that as is. I just wanted to give myself a little path to hop around on. So, if we want to know exactly where we are, we're going to need some goggles. And the only way to get goggles is to make them. So, I am not seeing them on this front page, which again, there they are. Yep. So we need a gold plate, glass, and string. We all know how to make glass. We all know where to get string. Question is, where do we get that gold plate? And the answer is smashing it down. So in order to do that, we're going to need a mechanical press. So that is this machine right here. If we hold W on it, it will give us a ponder and let us learn all about how it works. But for right now, for me, I just want to go ahead and make it. I know how it works. So I'm going to decide that I want to throw things on this block here and have them pressed down. So I want to move this motion up 1. Now we could do this with 2 more gearboxes, or we could do this a lot more simply with a belt. I think I have some ocean. Yeah, I think all of this classifies as ocean. So let's zip over there real quick. We're gonna go get some seaweed. And in prep for this, I'm gonna build a little furnace, stick it right there. Oh. I or someone left a boat here. We're going to steal this for a moment, drive out, get some kelp. If you aren't already farming kelp at your base, I would highly recommend it. It's a super useful thing for the purposes of create. You can grow it underwater, or if you're in this mod pack, you can grow it in botany pots. I have some in my greenhouse. But I figure since this is an educational video, I'll just zip over to an ocean real quick and get some kelp. Just in case you're not super familiar with some of the more Minecraft level things, you're just now getting started in mods and you don't know like what I'll potentially insultingly call the basics. Kelp only grows in oceans, not ponds or lakes or anything like that. Now you can grow them there, you can grow them in a swimming pool, but naturally occurring kelp will only be in what the game classifies as a ocean. We need 3 of these, so we're just gonna cook these down real fast. This whole time I'm eyeing a bottle of tequila. All right. So we're gonna lay these out like this. There's a small chance that I've lost my mind. Mechanical belt. We needed 6. We needed 6. So it's really convenient that we got more than what I thought we would need. There we go. So that is 1 belt made and done. Perfect. Now for our mechanical press, we need a block of iron, an andesite casing, and a shaft. Well, we've got 1 casing left, and we've got some shafts, and everyone hopefully knows how to go about getting iron. I happen to have some in my backpack. There we have a mechanical press. We're going to put that right there. And we were working towards goggles. So we need glass for this, string, and a gold plate. The gold plate is the element we don't currently have, but to get that, we take a gold ingot, we throw it where the press can press it down, and we have gotten 1 gold plate. Now, that was the press at this speed. If we had put this press over here, where the rotation is much slower, and tried to use it to press something, it will still work. But as you can see, this is a slog. Ugh. So that is one of the reasons why rotational speed really matters. We'll go ahead and put this back in place. I'm going to check to see if I have glass on me. I do. I don't see any string, which is unfortunate, but I have flax in the greenhouse. All I have to do is go to one of my greenhouses, grab a piece of flax, and we'll be good to go. Come up here. This is it here. By the way, that didn't instantly refill. It took from here, and now this plant is free to grow again. The hopping botany pots from the Botany Pots mod, an absolute game changer. You're basically unlocking creative mode. Highly, highly recommended if you're getting started in the All of Fabric mod pack. We're going to take and convert all this to string, even though we only need a little bit of it. We're going to run back to our build site. You may notice that we're not dealing with much in the way of mobs. That is because we have a bunch of magnum torches buried all over the place that turn off mob spawning in a certain radius. We're kind of at the border of that radius here, but until it becomes a problem, we're going to ignore it. Why? I don't really know, except to say that I, on occasion, make bad choices. We're going to throw some lights out for ourselves. Somebody slept. Yay. All right. So we needed glass, gold plate, and string. And that gets us our engineer's goggles. And it says that these are equipable in the face trinket slot. I don't know why I didn't get the achievement the first time I crafted these. I must have done things out of order from what it was expecting. So we have this now, which is wonderful, because if we look at something like this gauge, it tells us that we're somewhere between half and 2/3 of the way. We're moderate, and we're spinning at 64 rotations per minute, RPM. The max speed on this, you could pretty safely guess would be 128 rotations per minute. That's actually configurable, but by default, 128. So we're working our way towards crushing wheels. That's what we want. Let's keep ourselves organized. We want a piece of wood, some paper, and a chunk of andesite alloy, and we can make a clipboard. And on that clipboard, we could make ourselves a to-do list. You may have noticed I already have a to-do list. So let's see how we're doing. We got our water wheel. We got our mechanical press. Now seems like a good time to discuss the wrench, because that's our next thing. Or is it? Let's find out. So the wrench requires us to have 3 gold plates, a cogwheel, and a stick. We may as well make that happen because we have all of the stuff to do that. So we'll do 3 gold ingots. We'll throw those right there. While those are smashing down, make some sticks. Throw that single plank away. Pick up our gold ingots. They were like this, I believe, and 1 small cogwheel right there. And voila, we have a wrench. Now the wrench can be used for a good variety of things. Most notably, it can rotate some of your mechanisms. It can be used, it can be used a lot on more complicated things, and we'll get to those. Right now, we're just checking it off the list, and we're done. We're going to need some brass ingots, and we need these to make our mechanical crafter. Our mechanical crafter is what's going to allow us to make our crushing wheels. That's sort of our end goal of this video. So we need brass ingots. If we look here in Create, we can see brass sheets, which are made of brass ingots. And the only way we're going to get brass ingots is through, well, depends on your mod pack, I should say. Some mod packs will allow you a way to make this brass dust. Ours doesn't. So our best path is to make an alloy smelter and mix copper and zinc. So how do we make an alloy smelter? We're going to need some refined iron. We're going to need some iron furnaces. And that's pretty much it. So let's make ourselves 2 regular furnaces. We'll take a whole stack of cobble for this, and we'll take a whole stack of iron. We want 2 regular furnaces, just like this, and we want to make both of those into iron furnaces, just like that. I'll hold on to this kelp. You know what we should do, just for good measure? We're going to go ahead and make ourselves a chest to store all of our Create stuff in. If you don't have something like this in your base, highly recommended. I'm going to throw this clipboard I'm not using, the wrench, the glass, these other cogwheels, these other shafts, you know, anything that I know we're going to need but don't need right now, it can go live in there. So let's take and we'll smelt down a piece of charcoal real fast. And we'll go ahead and we'll make another stone furnace. If you're already well established, you may have a nice auto furnace somewhere. I do. Problem is, it's way over here, and I'm way over here, and I'm lazy. So we're going to use our stone furnace for now, and we're going to cook down 8 what they're calling refined iron ingots. And you get refined iron ingots just by cooking regular iron. So that 1 charcoal, that'll be enough for us, actually. That'll get us our 6 refined iron that we need to make our alloy furnace. But that alloy furnace has to then be powered by something, so we may as well have some charcoal kicking around. While this is going, if you don't already have copper and zinc, now would be a great time to get them. I have some copper, but I don't have much in the way of zinc on me. So I'm going to go get both of those from my mystical agriculture greenhouse. Mystical Agriculture is another wonderful mod that basically unlocks creative mode. In order to use Mystical Agriculture, you build these pedestals here. You have infusion pedestals and an infusion altar. You will gather Inferium, which is a green dust dropped by mobs and found underground. It's rather plentiful. And you can make seeds with it. And with those seeds, you can grow anything your heart desires, damn near. I grow diamonds, emeralds, all sorts of things. In fact, in this storage tank where everything is flowing, we have 9,453 diamonds, almost as many, or slightly more emeralds, all just sitting here. We are also growing our own brass, but we're going to make our brass the old-fashioned way. We're going to do that with some copper and some zinc. This is the exact sort of copper and zinc you would get if you mined the ores out of the ground, cooked them in a furnace, and you were left with the copper and zinc ingots. So while I may have gotten them in a much less intensive way than you might be doing in a single player server to get started. Yo, 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 says PS Phoenix. Hello, hello. Welcome. It is nice to have someone here chatting with me. All right. So we're going to take our refined iron and our 2 iron furnaces, and that gives us an iron alloy furnace. We're just going to throw right there. We're going to get some more coal, and we're going to put our charcoal into the bottom, our copper in one side, and some zinc in the other. And these are going to get consumed at different rates. I believe it's a 3-to-1 ratio. If I'm right on that, yep, 61, 63. But that gets us 4 brass ingots. And we're going to need brass in order to make our auto crafter. Our auto crafter is our next major goal. So we can cross our brass ingots off the list here. And we can look now at our mechanical crafter. That's what I've been meaning to say, and I've been saying the wrong thing because on occasion, my brain just doesn't work so hot. So we're looking for a mechanical crafter. This is going to be another, there we go. Perfect example. We're going to press A while hovering over this and keep it over here. And then we're going to look at the ponder for that by holding W. So here they build a 3x3 grid similar to a crafting table, and by using the wrench, they can change the direction these arrows are pointing. And this is really handy because you want all of these at one point to stop on one block and then pop out. So once rotational energy is applied, you could populate this as you would any other crafting table, like that is the recipe for a piston. It'll become a piston, and it gets put right there on that little pedestal. You can use a redstone impulse to trigger crafting if there were any leftover spaces on the crafting table. This is really good for us to know because our recipe will use all the spaces, but maybe the first one we make won't. Let's find out. Crystal's here, says, I've been listening. Thank you for doing this for Klaatu. No worries. And no worries, Paul, you're more than welcome to hang out. You don't have to apologize for being on your phone. Okay, so we want to make this mechanical crafter. It's going to require some brass casings, some electron tubes, and some crafting tables. Let's make those crafting tables just because they're going to be the simplest part of this. But let's also do some math on this. Each time we make this, we're going to get 3 mechanical crafters. The reason we're making mechanical crafters is so we can make these crushing wheels. The crushing wheels require 21 mechanical crafters. So 21 divided by 3 is 7. That means I need to be prepared to do this recipe 7 times, which is good. I just need to make 7 crafting tables. Like that. Now, what was the next step? Well, we need 7 brass casings. Well, we already know how to make casings, so this will be easy too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 logs go down. They all get stripped, and we take a brass ingot in our hands, and we just click on all of those with the brass ingot. There is our 7 casings. Wonderful. No issues. Now comes the part that, if you're not nether ready, might be a little bit of a hassle. We need to have 7 electron tubes. We can make our iron plates. That's not a problem. This polished redstone quartz requires us to sandpaper polish rose quartz, which is nether quartz and redstone. So you may, in your single player world, have a bunch of different options for getting nether quartz. You may find it in villager chests. You may find it as treasure somewhere. You may have acquired it through a trade. We are going to run into the nether real fast and try and get some nether quartz. This white sand above us is super beneficial because that is a nether quartz biome. That over there is nether quartz ore. And my gut instinct tells me that if I look around long enough, here we go, we can get some nether quartz ore. I'm going to need 7 of this in total, just like that. And we can get the hell out of hell. I'm okay with this. Right. So we're going to need a pretty good amount of redstone dust. Thankfully, I have some in my backpack. Now we have rose quartz. So in order to turn rose quartz into our electron tubes, we have to first sand that rose quartz down. I'm going to grab a piece of sand, And I'm going to combine it with a piece of paper and get sandpaper. The world's simplest recipe, exactly what you think is how you would go about getting rose quartz, or sandpaper is how you get sandpaper. So what we've done is we've pressed F. F to put whatever we're holding in our right hand into our left hand. So with the sandpaper in our left hand, the rose quartz in our right hand, we're just going to hold down the right mouse button, and we're going to polish this stuff up. I don't know what we're currently sandpapering, but we're done. We don't have very much left in the way of this sandpaper, so I'm just going to throw it away. We're going to need 7 iron plates, if my memory is correct. Let's double check the recipe. Yes, iron plates. So we're going to use our mechanical press again. Are. I must have them in one of my backpacks. I did indeed. Okay. Because it matched one of my danks and my danks are set to filter, it pulled itself away from me. So there we have 7 electron tubes, 7 brass casings, and 7 crafting tables. And with all of these, we can make 21 mechanical crafters. This is truly wonderful. So, do we have any gearboxes left? We don't seem to. So, I'm going to make another I'm not actually going to make another gearbox. I think I can do better with a belt. I don't need to change the orientation of my shafts. I just need to move them over slightly. So I'm going to do a belt. And I think here is fine. Okay. All right. So I'm going to put some shafts right there. I'm going to right click with the belt where I want it to start and where I want it to end. And you'll notice this isn't contacting with that box. It's not turning it. It's not doing anything meaningful in any capacity. That is because we need to rework our design. We're going to poke a hole right there. And we'll put one shaft down. Go ahead and we'll connect our belt up. Oh, we can't. The reason we couldn't, in case you missed it, was because this would be connecting into another belt. You can connect multiple belts to the same shaft, but you can't connect. All right. There you go. You can't connect belts directly together. So we want a small cogwheel, which I thought I had. Oh, I do have. Okay, cool. I'm not going crazy. Good, good, good. Let's just clean this up a little bit. We'll put that cogwheel there. And now this mechanical crafter is free to turn. And we are free to populate out the rest of our mechanical crafters. And if we break through, we'll see that they would all be turning, but when we look at it with our goggles on, it says that it's overstressed. So this is a good opportunity to figure out about stress. So let's break our speedometer here. Let's put it on our crafting grid and turn it into a stressometer. Now, at our current speed, we're using 151% of our available network stress. Let's break this belt. So just the mechanical crafter. If we remove the mechanical crafter out of the equation, you'll see that just the mechanical press uses 25% of our available stress load. Even when it's not doing anything, the fact that it exists and it's ready to do something is occupying 25% of our current stress load. So what do we do about that? Well, the easiest answer would be to operate this at a lower speed. You'll see here, because this isn't connected to anything, it's occupying 0 SU at current speed. That's stress units. The mechanical crafter is consuming 512 stress units at its current speed. So if we crafted another speedometer and put it down here, we would know that we're going 64 rotations per minute. And we could sit there and say, well, if that's 64, then this is going to be 32, and this is going to be 16, and we could make an informed decision about whether or not our mechanical crafter needs to be going this fast. Because if we slow it down, now our mechanical crafter is running at 16 revolutions per minute and is occupying only 128 stress units as opposed to 512. But the mechanical the mechanical press is one of those things that we probably want to be able to go pretty fast. This big mechanical crafter, however, it doesn't really need to go all that fast. We're not going to be using it too terribly often. Whereas the mechanical press, we probably are. So let's see what we can come up with in the footprint that we've made. In line with this guy here, and this guy's going slow. This is only going to be like 8 rotations per minute. We can put down some shafts, connect into that. And if we had one more belt, which we can make, our mechanical crafter is now live. So we're occupying 1,200 of our total 2,048 available stress units from these 4 large water wheels. So this is good. We're going to verify that this is running. These wheels are turning just as they should be. So this works. Almost. Let's make ourselves a wooden button. It doesn't have to be wood. Any button will do. I'm choosing wood because it's easier to see. So I should, in theory, be able to use this mechanical crafter to make anything that I want. Even though it's got all these extra spaces, I can still use it as a 2x2 crafting grid. I don't know how to pronounce your name, but hello to you. I apologize. I am an ignorant American. I see the hellos. If this keeps going, you're probably going to end up, getting silenced. To resolve. It's my favorite thing to deal with, really. Getting silenced. Just going to put you in a timeout for now. And, when you decide that you're not going to spam the channel, you can come back. That simple. Okay. So we have on our checklist the mechanical crafter almost done. I say almost because if we actually test it, nothing happens. Why isn't anything happening? Because these little arrows all need to converge at some point. So I'm going to start by making everything face inwards. What? Okay. And my goal with this, there we go, is to ultimately end up with one arrow going out and everything else going in. So if I hit the button now, it's going to go slow. You got to remember, it's only operating at 8 revolutions per minute, but it will go through and join these things together. And when they are in the last stage or the last block in this layout, however I'd chosen to lay it out, it would go ahead and spit them out for me. If you wanted to be real creative and make these zigzag around and work their way into the center, you might be able to make that work. But what you've seen here is pretty much the time proven method that I always go with, and just like that, spits it out. So we now have a I have like full netherite stuff. Clearly, when you do advancements out of order, it breaks things. ModMe can do potentially. There you go. So, onto our crafting wheels. crafting wheels. You'll notice when we clicked on these, it pulled up in this tab, but we want to see the mechanical crafter recipe for them, so we have to click up here. This is going to just be a lot of andesite alloy, some stone, any sort of smooth stone will do, and some planks, any sort of planks will do. So the way to, and it's worth mentioning, this will give us both crushing wheels. So we only need to do this recipe the one time. So let's go into our mining bag. We're going to get some granite, why not? I'm going to make some smooth granite and some oak planks. We're going to put our polished granite, rather, in the center. We're going to double check our recipe just to make sure polished granite was on that list. It is indeed. So also is rough granite, so we didn't need to polish it. That's just something I did for flair, I guess. And we're throwing our flare directly in the ocean, just to clear up some inventory space. Ectoplasm, papers, flowers. Take that, Mother Nature. And the rest of this table needs to be filled with andesite alloy. So that's going to require a good bit of andesite alloy. We only have 16, but I think 16 may get us there. $16 exactly got us there, which is wonderful. So we didn't have to hit the button because we used every spot in the crafting table, or mechanical crafter, I should say. Go. Looks a lot more like a wheel. Oh, hello. What the hell do you want? If you somehow take these from me, I'm gonna be insanely pissed. I don't know that you can. I don't know that you would. Copper lanterns, firework rockets. I will admit I am interested enough to go dig my paper out of the ocean. Okay. Okay, I did get my paper back. And in my mining thing, I have plenty of emeralds. Sir, give to me. What else do you have? Okay, you were only good for 24 of those. But, hey. Alright. Well, good on you. So, we've got our crushing wheels now. The problem, because there always will be one, is this rotational, or our available stress. Our network stress is 41% of what we're capable of. We could make crushing wheels and make them super slow, but if we do that, they're not going to really be useful to us. So what we need is more available stress units. And the easiest way to do that, as you might have already gathered, is going to be adding more water wheels. So let's slightly more than double our mechanical stress. We have 4 wheels now, and we're going to aim to have an additional 5. So that is going to be, let's just remind ourselves. That's what it is. Okay, I was about to say, this doesn't seem quite right. So we're gonna need 5 of those, and we'll turn them into, well, so far only 3, but we'll go ahead and we'll place those. Get some more planks made. Okay, so we have all these water wheels now, but yet this is still only using 512. This is still, doing its whole thing. So why isn't our network any faster? Because it's not going to be. All it's going to be is capable of more stress. But you'll notice right now, we're not actually capable of more stress. We're capable of the same stress. Why? Because these other 5 water wheels don't have any water going over them. So we have to fix that. We're going to go ahead and make basically the same little contraption we have on the other side to direct water. Gonna be doing this a couple more times. Well, I'll use my backpack. Why not? Okay. All right. And now all of our water wheels are spinning. They all have water over the top and down the side. So we can take a look at our stressometer here, and you'll see here that we have 3,780 available stress units. We went from 2,000 and something to 4,608 available stress units. So this is wonderful for us, really, because we can go ahead and start to utilize our more expensive mods, such as, yeah, we'll go with mods, such as the crushing wheel. Let's make one more gearbox if we don't have one kicking around, which we don't appear to. And in order to do that, we're going to need another andesite casing. So oh, there it is. I was looking for my axe, and I couldn't remember where it got thrown. So we stripped the log down. We need more andesite alloy, I'm sad to say. So we need some iron nuggets and some andesite. We have a gearbox, but I want a vertical gearbox, so we're going to pull that out. We're going to put our vertical gearbox right here. So rotational energy is still being conveyed. It's just that now everything in line, so to speak. So if you'll remember, our generator, so to speak, is this water wheel. And all of that rotational energy is coming out this way, coming through this series of gear ratios to get to a higher speed, coming through there, and then passing along this way. So this mechanical press is now spinning backwards compared to how it was before. But the mechanical press it's not a belt. It doesn't care what direction you're driving it. The grinding wheels, belts, certain things that are rotationally sensitive, they will care, and they will care a lot. So you'll want to keep that in mind as you're making your designs. So let's get a little esoteric. And have another shaft right there. What we'll do is check to see if we have enough material to make another belt. We do not. So I'm gonna, what's this? Wine cellar area. Yep. Job passed, James. You accomplished a goal. All right. You have to eat food because I can no longer run. And that, to me, is like a fate worse than death. We're going to go to our greenhouse, and we're going to grab a bunch of kelp. We're also going to take advantage of one of these trash cans we're passing to lighten our inventory a little bit. That's probably fine. If I need more space, I can always put more stuff away or throw things away. You got all the time in the world. So in our greenhouse here, we have a whole bunch of kelp growing out of a botany pot with a bucket of water as the soil item. We're gonna take some of this. We're gonna go cook it down in this auto furnace that we're gonna be passing. While this cooks, I'm just going to take a brief moment to stretch, relax. We're going to probably need a few belts. That's why I'm not just crafting this one and running back. All right. I think 2 belts should get us started, and this will keep loaded and burning, and if we need more belts, we can just return to the auto smelter and be good to go. So there's our giant collection of 9 large water wheels. And up here we have what will hopefully become the base of our grinding wheels. So in order to make both of these spin, I'm going to join them together with a belt. These are spinning the same direction currently. That is going to be kind of a no bueno for us. But if you'll remember back to the very, very beginning of this video, I discussed a very easy fix for just that, which is to run our rotation through a gearbox. So we're going to make another gearbox. We're going to make a vertical gearbox, just like that. And now, if we look at these, this one here is rotating counterclockwise, and this one is also rotating counterclockwise. I want them to be facing each other. So I'm going to reverse the direction that this one is going. That way, when my grinding wheels are down, they're pushing into each other, all right? With them pushing into each other, if I walk in there, it doesn't hurt me. If I go through here, it really, really hurts me. And if I had shittier armor, I would be dead right now. Make no mistake, I would be super dead. That can and will kill you. So, how do we utilize these crushing wheels safely? That is an excellent question. We could just throw things into them, and it crushed our cobblestone down into gravel. But ideally, we're going to want a mechanism that we can use to move goods from one chest through the grinding wheels and into another chest. So Paul's like, no, don't walk into it. Nah, it's fine. Demonstration purposes, you know, you gotta be the example you don't want to see in the world. So we can run a belt right smack dab through these grinding wheels. I don't remember if we do it through them like this. I don't think it's going to let us. No, so we have to do it under them, which is fine. So we're going to put more blocks around here. Just going to give myself a little staircase up here. That way, if I'm ever without the ability to double jump, or if I have a less acrobatically gifted friend needing to use these wheels, they will have that option. We're going to put a shaft there and a shaft there. And okay. So this shaft now spins. And we're going to use another couple gearboxes to get it to where we want it to be. So we may only need one gearbox, but I'm going to go ahead and prepare for two because the belt has to move the right direction or it won't be useful to us. So let's go get our kelp, our cooked up kelp, dried kelp. That was the word I wanted. We're going to get our dried kelp and we're going to make another belt. Here we have it. And we're going to make a couple more small cogwheels. The recipe for these was cheap, thankfully. So we want a total of 6 more. There we have it. And now we have some gearboxes. Hello, duck. I'm guessing Paul has come over and put himself through my grinding wheel to see what the suffering is like. So we need a vertical gearbox to join what will become our item belt here to this source of rotation. So we're going to turn our normal gearboxes into vertical gearboxes here in the crafting table. And we're gonna plant it in like that. And you'll see here, this is going the wrong direction. We already proved that you can't get hurt going into it the wrong way. So we need this to go the other way, which is one of the reasons why we didn't try and do anything in that narrow space. So now anything we throw onto these belts gets ground up and put out here. So that's wonderful, but it could be better. It could be more useful to us because we still don't have any real way to, get things in or out. So let's make ourselves a couple chests. We're going to plop one right there, one right there. You'll notice this chest is over top of the belt. That doesn't matter. Now what we need are funnels. There's two different grades of funnels. There's andesite funnels and brass funnels. If you use the ponder on them in game, you'll get to know more about them and it'll do a better job of explaining than I will. But the reality of it, here they are, is that our needs will be met just fine with the andesite funnels. So one andesite alloy, some dried kelp, that gives us 2 of these brass funnels. That's perfect. That's exactly what we need. So we're going to place one there and one right there. And you can interact with these in different ways. You can make them do things. I watch the ponder for that, but for a simple setup, 9 times out of 10, they'll automatically know what you want to do based on the direction of the belt. And just like that, we're grinding. We've got set up working grinding wheels. And if we wanted to make these a little safer for our, let's say, more adventurously spirited friends, we could put some glass over top here. That way, no one can get into that little, we'll call it pinchy bit. You don't want to be in the pinchy bit. The pinchy bit pinches. The wheels will grind up almost anything you put in them, but not everything will produce loot. Anything that you put in there that it doesn't produce loot will just get destroyed. So everything I'm putting in there now is getting destroyed. But if I have, for example, some iron ore, we'll throw half a stack in there. So here's Paul using it as a trash can, and he's throwing away a bunch of compressed gravel as well. His compressed gravel is going to be destroyed, even though if that gravel were uncompressed, we'll demonstrate this. The uncompressed gravel would get turned into sand. So you know how I had to dig around to get sand earlier for the glass for something? I don't remember what we used. Oh, sandpaper. I had to go get sand. Now we can just make sand. But we'll put all that aside for now, and we'll throw some iron ore in here. And we put in 32 iron ore, and you'll notice we're getting out 32 iron dust, but we're also getting these nuggets of experience. If we had, I want to check something real fast. Somehow we're only at 40%, so we could have made this grinding wheel spin even faster, and it would process, more efficiently. Crushing our iron ore doesn't get us extra iron. It doesn't double our resources like it does in some mod packs, but it did give us 25 nuggets of experience Right now we're at level 31, almost all the way to 32. And now, because we consumed those, we're halfway through 32. If I didn't have 32 levels of experience, if I was at like level 1, let's say, that probably would have been a lot closer to maybe 5-6 levels. So oh, you went down to, oh, did I lock you in? I hope not. Oh, yeah, Paul doesn't have to make holes in my contraption. He notices the already giant holes and just uses those. Good for Paul. Be like Paul. So I know this wasn't a very long stream, and I know in the way of tutorial videos, this was both long, a bit disorganized, and rambly. But I really, really do hope it will help. If no one other than Klaatu is helped by this, I still consider this a success, as she's the one who's been requesting me to make a video on it. So I'll probably end up removing literally all of this because I don't like the way it looks next to my palace. So Klaatu, if you would like any of this stuff so that you don't have to make it yourself, by all means, feel free to come out here, pickaxe in hand with a nice empty backpack, and collect it all, take screenshots, rewatch the video, do whatever it is you got to do. Yeah, you've got, I'd say, today's Tuesday. I'd say you have until Friday before I will remove this. So I hope if you're watching this video, it's been helpful to you. But that's going to be it for me streaming today.